ladies and gentlemen, you know, every day is a gift, and how you unwrap that gift in the morning determines how you live the rest of the day. Some people wake up already defeated, drag themselves out of bed, dreading the day ahead, speaking words of discouragement before they even step foot outside. But let me tell you something. You are in control of your mornings. You decide how the day begins. And when you fuel your mind the right way, you fuel your life in the right direction. Now, you might say, I just don't feel motivated in the morning. But can I tell you a secret? Motivation doesn't come first. Action does. Too many people wait for the right feelings before they take action, but successful people take action despite their feelings. They get up, they declare victory over their day, they set their mind on what is good, and guess what? The motivation follows. What you allow into your mind in the first hour of your day determines your mindset for the rest of the day. If you wake up feeding on negativity, scrolling through bad news, complaining about yesterday's problems, speaking words of defeat, don't be surprised when your day feels heavy. But when you start with gratitude, faith, and expectation, you set yourself up for success. Instead of saying, oh, another day, another struggle, start saying, today is filled with new opportunities. I am capable, I am strong, and I am walking in purpose. Your words have power. Use them wisely. And let's talk about habits. What do you do first thing in the morning? Do you hit snooze 5 times and rush out the door stressed? Or do you take time to center yourself, pray, read, exercise, or set your intention? Because let me tell you, small disciplines create big victories. The truth is, life isn't perfect. Some days you won't feel like getting up. Some days you won't feel like being positive. But we don't live by feelings, we live by choices. Choose discipline over comfort. Choose faith over fear. Choose to fuel your mind with the right thoughts so you can fuel your life with the right actions. So today I challenge you. Take control of your mornings, speak life over your day, move your body, feed your mind, and step into the day with power and purpose. Because how you start determines how you finish. Now go out there and make today great. You got this. How you begin your morning determines the course of your entire day. It's not just a routine, it's a foundation. A rushed, negative, or careless morning creates frustration, exhaustion, and defeat before the day even truly begins. But a morning that starts with purpose, focus, and the right mindset fuels everything you do. You can't build a strong day on a weak morning. Too many people wake up and let the day happen to them instead of taking charge. They roll out of bed last minute, checking their phones before their eyes are even fully open. The first thing they see is bad news, work emails, or social media distractions. Right there, they've given control of their morning and their mindset to everything and everyone else. By the time they get out the door, they're already drained, anxious, or frustrated. Sound familiar? Now imagine a different way. Imagine waking up with intention. Instead of grabbing your phone first, you take a deep breath and remind yourself, today is a fresh start. Today is a gift. Today, I set the tone. You move with purpose, not panic. You create space to think, to pray, to set your mind on good things before the world starts pulling at you. When you start your day with purpose, you're not reacting, you're leading. You're setting the direction of your thoughts before distractions can set them for you. You're choosing what enters your mind before negativity sneaks in. You are fueling your mind for success before you even step out the door. Think of it like this. If you don't set your GPS before a road trip, how do you know where you're going? You might end up lost, delayed, or frustrated because you never took the time to get clear on the direction. That's what happens when you start your day without intention. You drift through the day instead of driving toward your goals. Now, some people say, I don't have time in the morning for all that. But the truth is, you don't have time not to. You don't have time to waste energy on stress, frustration, and distraction. A purposeful morning doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to be intentional. It can start with just a few simple changes. Maybe it means waking up 10 minutes earlier so you're not rushed. Maybe it means taking a moment to stretch, to breathe, or to pray before the day gets busy. Maybe it's speaking a few words of encouragement over yourself, reminding yourself who you are, what you're capable of, and what your purpose is. Maybe it's choosing gratitude instead of grumbling, setting an expectation for good instead of worrying about what could go wrong. One of the biggest game changers, deciding the night before how your morning will go. You don't leave it to chance. You don't wake up and hope for motivation to hit you. You prepare your mindset, your space, and your schedule so that when morning comes, you already know what to do. You've already chosen to start with strength instead of struggle. And here's the powerful part. When you start your day with purpose, it carries over into everything you do. You think clearer, you make better decisions, you handle stress with more patience, you walk into work, your home, or whatever responsibilities you have with a sense of direction instead of defeat. You lead your day instead of your day leading you, because at the end of the day, it's not about being perfect, it's about being intentional. Your morning is the fuel that powers everything else. When you start strong, you set yourself up to keep going strong. And when you make it a habit, it doesn't just change your mornings, it changes your life. Your mind is like soil. Whatever you plant in it will grow. If you plant negativity, doubt, and fear first thing in the morning, that's exactly what will take root and shape your entire day. But if you plant thoughts of faith, gratitude, confidence, and possibility, then you set yourself up for strength and success. Your thoughts determine your direction. Many people wake up and immediately allow negative thoughts to take over. They think about what went wrong yesterday, what could go wrong today, or everything they don't like about their lives. Before they even get out of bed, they're already carrying stress, frustration, and discouragement. And the problem is, when you let those thoughts settle in, they don't just stay in your head, they shape your actions, your attitude, and your results. Think about it. If you start your day telling yourself, I'm already exhausted, today's going to be stressful, nothing ever works out for me, how do you think that day will go? Your mind will find reasons to confirm what you already believe. You'll notice every little inconvenience. You'll feel drained before the day even begins, and you'll approach challenges with defeat instead of determination. But the good news is you have control over what you feed your mind. You don't have to accept every thought that enters your head. Just because a negative thought shows up doesn't mean you have to entertain it. You can choose what stays and what gets replaced, and this is where intentionality comes in. If you want a strong, successful, joy-filled day, you have to start by planting the right thoughts. That means being mindful of what you allow into your mind first thing in the morning. For some, this means turning off the news first thing in the morning. While it's good to stay informed, constantly feeding on negativity, fear, and bad news first thing in the morning drains your energy and shifts your focus to everything that's wrong in the world instead of what's possible for your life. For others, this means being careful about the conversations you engage in. If you start your day listening to gossip, complaining, or negativity from others, it's only a matter of time before those same patterns take root in your own mind. You can't fill your mind with toxic thoughts and expect to have a positive day. Instead, start your morning with life-giving thoughts. Speak words of encouragement over yourself. Remind yourself of your strengths, your purpose, and your potential. Replace doubt with faith, fear with confidence, and complaints with gratitude. If you don't feel strong, declare it anyway. If you don't feel motivated, act as if you are. Your thoughts create momentum, and sometimes you have to lead your mind before your feelings catch up. One of the best ways to train your mind is through affirmations. What you repeatedly tell yourself, you start to believe. Instead of saying, I'm not good enough, say, I am more than capable. Instead of saying, this day is going to be terrible, say, today's a fresh start and I'm expecting good things. Instead of saying, I always fail, say, I am learning, growing, and getting stronger every day. And it's not just about what you think, it's about what you consume. What are you listening to? What are you reading? What are you watching? Because whatever you feed your mind consistently will shape your reality. If you start your day with motivational content, faith-filled words, or uplifting messages, your mind will be in a much stronger place than if you start with distractions, negativity, or mindless scrolling. You might not always feel like being positive. Some mornings it's easier to sit in frustration, self-pity, or doubt, but you don't have to be controlled by your feelings. You can train your mind to focus on what strengthens you instead of what weakens you. You can redirect your thoughts and shift your mindset, no matter what's going on around you. Because at the end of the day, your mind is your greatest asset or your greatest enemy. The thoughts you allow in the morning will shape your attitude, your actions, and ultimately, your life. What you do first thing in the morning matters. It's not just about waking up and going through the motions. It's about being intentional with the first moments of your day. Too many people let their mornings control them instead of taking control of their mornings. They wake up late, rush through their routine, and start their day in a reactive state, always trying to catch up. But when you establish a morning routine that sets you up for success, you set the tone for the rest of your day. Your morning isn't just another part of your schedule. It's the foundation for everything that follows. If you start your day in chaos, stress, or distraction, that energy follows you. But if you start with focus, purpose, and discipline, you carry that momentum into everything else you do. One of the biggest reasons people feel overwhelmed, unproductive, or stuck in life is because they haven't taken control of their mornings. They hit snooze 5 times, scroll through social media before even getting out of bed, and then rush out the door feeling like they're already behind. They wonder why they feel exhausted all the time, why their motivation is low, why they can't seem to get things done. The truth is, it's not just about how much sleep you get or how many hours are in the day. It's about how you start. If you want to take control of your day, you have to take control of your morning. That starts with establishing a routine that fuels you instead of drains you. Your morning should be intentional, not accidental. It should prepare your mind, body, and spirit for what's ahead, not leave you feeling frazzled, anxious, or behind before you even begin. So, what does a strong morning routine look like? It's not about following a strict formula. It's about doing what sets you up for success. That might mean waking up a little earlier to give yourself time to think, to pray, to stretch, or to read something inspiring. It might mean setting your intentions for the day instead of letting distractions take over. A productive morning doesn't start in the morning, it starts the night before. If you go to bed with no plan, waking up will feel like a struggle. But when you prepare ahead of time, whether that's laying out your clothes, planning your schedule, or deciding on your priorities, you remove unnecessary stress from your morning. You wake up with a clear direction instead of wasting time figuring out what to do next. Another key to an effective morning routine: eliminate distractions. The way you start your morning should be focused, not filled with unnecessary noise. If the first thing you do is check your phone, read the news, or scroll through social media, you're letting outside influences set the tone for your day. Instead of starting with inspiration, instead, be intentional about what you feed your mind. Maybe that means reading something uplifting, listening to a motivational message, or simply sitting in quiet reflection. Maybe it means practicing gratitude, setting a goal, or affirming positive truths over your life. Whatever it is, make sure your morning routine is strengthening you, not distracting you. And let's talk about movement. Your body and your energy levels are directly tied to how you start your morning. If you wake up feeling sluggish, one of the best things you can do is get moving. It doesn't have to be an intense workout. It could be stretching, a short walk, or even a few minutes of deep breathing. When you activate your body, you activate your mind, you shake off sleepiness, and step into the day feeling more alert, focused, and ready to take on challenges. Taking control of your morning also means setting boundaries. If you're constantly rushing because you've given your time away to distractions, you need to protect your morning routine. That might mean setting an earlier alarm, saying no to certain habits, or creating a non-negotiable routine that prioritizes your mental, physical, and emotional well-being. Because the reality is, discipline in the morning leads to victory throughout the day. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. It's about making small, intentional choices that add up to big results over time. When you own your morning, you take control of your mindset, your productivity, and ultimately your life. Feelings are unpredictable. One morning you wake up excited and ready to take on the world. The next morning you feel sluggish, unmotivated, and overwhelmed before the day even begins. If you rely on feelings to dictate your actions, you'll never be consistent in your growth, success, or discipline. The key to a powerful, purpose-driven morning is learning to push past your feelings and take action anyway. Too many people wait to feel like it before they do something important. They say, I'll start my morning routine when I have more energy. I'll work toward my goals when I feel motivated. I'll change my habits when I'm in the right mindset. But here's the truth. If you wait until you feel like it, you'll never start. Feelings are temporary, but discipline is what creates real results. You don't have to feel motivated to move. You don't have to feel excited to take action. You just have to decide that your commitment is stronger than your emotions. Think about this. If a firefighter waited until they felt brave before running into a burning building, they would never save anyone. If an athlete waited until they felt strong before training, they would never improve. If successful people only worked when they felt like it, they wouldn't have achieved anything. The reason they win is because they push past their feelings and stay committed to the process, even on the hard days. The same applies to you. If you want to create a life of purpose and success, you have to learn how to act beyond your emotions. Some mornings you won't feel like getting up early. You won't feel like exercising. You won't feel like speaking positive words over yourself. But those are the exact moments you need to do it the most. Because here's the secret. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. Most people think they have to feel motivated before they start. But the reality is, motivation comes after you take action. When you move, when you make a decision, when you take that first step, even if it's small, your brain starts to shift. You start to feel more capable, more focused, more in control. The energy you were waiting for begins to show up because you created it. Have you ever noticed that the hardest part of working out is just getting started? But once you push past those first few minutes, you start to feel stronger. The same thing happens with anything in life. The hardest part is getting past that initial resistance. But once you do, momentum kicks in. And this is why routines matter. When you create a disciplined morning routine, you take emotions out of the equation. You don't wake up and ask yourself, do I feel like doing this today? Because the decision is already made. You wake up and follow the plan no matter how you feel. That consistency builds strength, confidence, and success over time. Another way to push past your feelings, change your self-talk. When you wake up tired, don't reinforce it by saying, I'm so exhausted, I can't do this today. Instead, speak energy into your life. I have everything I need to succeed today. I am getting stronger. I am ready for what's ahead. Your words shape your reality, so speak what you want to see. Sometimes pushing past your feelings means taking just one small step. If you don't feel like working out, commit to just 5 minutes. If you don't feel like starting your day, commit to just one positive thought. When you break resistance into smaller steps, it becomes easier to push through. And remember this, feelings come and go, but discipline lasts. The days when you push through despite your emotions are the days you grow the most. The mornings when you show up anyway are the mornings that set you apart. Your success isn't built on how you feel. It's built on what you do, day after day, regardless of the emotions that try to stop you. Motivation is a great feeling. It gives you energy, excitement, and a sense of possibility. But here's the problem. Motivation doesn't last. One day you're fired up and ready to take on the world. The next you're tired, distracted, and struggling to stay on track. If you rely on motivation alone, you'll always be inconsistent. Success doesn't come from short bursts of motivation. It comes from turning that motivation into momentum. Think about a rocket launching into space. The most fuel is burned at the beginning. Getting off the ground takes the most effort. But once the rocket gains momentum, it moves faster and more efficiently. The same thing happens in life. Starting something new is the hardest part. Pushing through resistance takes energy. But once you gain momentum, things become easier and progress starts to happen naturally. The mistake most people make is thinking they need to feel motivated every single day. They wait for a perfect wave of inspiration before they take action. But successful people don't rely on feelings. They rely on habits, discipline, and consistency. They turn motivation into a system. So how do you do that? How do you turn a morning full of energy into a lifestyle of progress? It starts with taking action, no matter how small. Every time you act, you reinforce a pattern. If you take consistent action, no matter how small, you build momentum that keeps you moving forward even when motivation fades. Let's say you wake up feeling inspired to work on your goals. That's great, but what do you do next? If you don't act on that feeling, it disappears. But if you channel that motivation into a repeatable routine, you create a system that keeps you going even when inspiration wears off. For example, instead of saying, I'm going to exercise when I feel motivated, you create a plan. I will work out every morning at 6 a.m. no matter how I feel. Instead of saying, I'll start working on my dreams when I have more energy, you commit to small daily steps. I will dedicate 30 minutes every morning to learning, creating, or improving myself. Because here's the truth. Action fuels more action. When you take one small step, you feel a sense of accomplishment. That accomplishment gives you more confidence, and confidence leads to more action. Suddenly, what felt impossible now feels like progress. Another key to building momentum: stop overthinking and just start. So many people waste time trying to make things perfect before they begin. They analyze, plan, and wait for the right moment. But momentum isn't built in your head. It's built through action. Start before you're ready. Start when you're unsure. Start even when it feels uncomfortable. The sooner you begin, the sooner you'll build the habits that create long-term success. And don't underestimate the power of celebrating small wins. Most people only reward themselves when they reach a big goal, but momentum is built in the little victories. If you got up early today when you didn't feel like it, that's a win. If you stuck to your morning routine for a week, that's a win. If you pushed past self-doubt and took a step toward your dreams, that's a win. The more you recognize your progress, the more motivated you'll be to keep going. One more thing, protect your momentum. The fastest way to lose progress is by allowing distractions, doubt, and inconsistency to take over. Set boundaries around your time. Stay focused on what matters. Keep showing up, even when no one is watching. Because in the end, motivation is just the spark. It's what gets you excited. But momentum is what carries you forward. And when you build momentum, nothing can stop you from reaching your full potential.